Warning! The following episode of Orsini's Uncensored Mind contains explicit language and adult content. The thoughts and opinions stated on this show are reflective of AZ Orsini, the Steve Dave, and their guests exclusively. Seriously, guys, my dada and uncle say some pretty crazy stuff. If it offends you, go be butthurt somewhere else.
Welcome to Orsini's Uncensored Minds, and now your hosts, AJ Orsini with Dave.
Hey, how the hell is everybody out there? It's your boy, not boys, boy, your boy AJ Orsini here with another episode, 302 to be exact, of Orsini's Uncensored Mind. And this is the part where I'm supposed to tell you, don't let the question mark fool you, deceive Dave. Are you here with us? He's not here. Today he is out. He had a family situation to take care of. Nothing really out of the, nothing in the emergency department. Just got a little daddy hubby business to tend to. So we're a day late. I am actually recording this on Wednesday as opposed to doing it the day before. But that's cool. That's all right. We're back to the bare basics here of the Orsini's Uncensored Mind. This is how the show began, my good buddies. It's just me and a microphone riffing it up. You know what I'm saying? Doing what needs doing. Now, I was on the fence of doing a show at all today because next week is Wrestlemania week, and we're going to be doing the round table. I have some stuff to tell you guys about revolving around the YouTube channel yet again. Concerning next week, we're doing something very special concerning next week. And, of course, the greatest weekend in the history of humankind is WrestleMania weekend, all happening next week. So I was actually very seriously contemplating not doing a show at all today on the account that, my bro's not here. He's taking care of business that needs to be taken care of, as previously mentioned. So, but I did decide to do one, if for no other reason, I had some things on my mind, wanted to talk about it here on the show, leading up to the big special day, or special weekend of WrestleMania. We're going to be talking, see, I'm doing that again, because I got so used to him being here. He's a crutch at this point. I can't do these shows by myself anymore. But I, folks, will be here to talk about a few things to get off my chest. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and play this. I'll tell you a lot more about it right now.
Come on, don't keep us waiting. What's going to happen on the show today?
On the show today, I have some beef, no broccoli, with Marvel and Disney and their preparation, or lack thereof, I should say, for my anger when it comes to Daredevil Born Again. I know that Dave has not been watching the show. I have, so I've been keeping the Daredevil talk to a minimum. But he ain't here. So much to discuss here. Not so much just about the show, but apparently the way that the episodes have been divvied up, not that much of a goddamn fan. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Also, around the corner, around the bend, is an expiration date. There is a timeline, a date coming up for all United States citizens involving your identification. And I wanted to tell some information and some stories about that. So that deadline's coming up, and we're going to give you guys some insight. I'm going to give you some insight. Jesus Christ, I got to change my verbiage around for this episode as to how some of that is going down. Also, for the second half of the show, as previously mentioned, we are around the corner, around the bend, we should say. It's WrestleMania season, And there's a few things that we need to talk about, some things that I want to talk about, of course, of which Jesus, this is going to be happening the whole episode. You guys are going to have to bear with me. I'm so used to having this be a conclusive thing, you know? But, yeah, they're preparing the set for WrestleMania. We're underway. They're already getting that prepared. So I kind of want to travel down memory lane a little bit, talk a little bit about the sets in the past, some of my personal favorites, and get into the lure, so to speak, of how WrestleMania has kind of culturally progressed through their designs. Also, in our main event of the evening here tonight, I definitely wanted to break down a little bit. Again, I want to save something for the round table. But the favor has been revealed. CM Punk is letting the world know exactly what it is that he wants, what it is exactly that he is in for, or we're in for, I should say, as far as WrestleMania goes. So I'm extremely excited about where things are, where things are headed. I know a lot of you aren't. Again, I'm trying to save a little something for the round table, but we'll divulge into it just a little bit. So I don't have a lot of time today. Normally I have time set up for recording around Tuesday evening. When my brother told me that he couldn't make it, I ended up using the time to get the house ready for next week because I won't have much time to do that next week. And WrestleMania is around the corner. I got a party to throw. I got people coming over. I've got fancy dandy people coming in to the crib, so we had to make it look nice. So I'm a little short on time today. So let's go ahead and get right into Seg 1.
Let's begin segment 1.
Let's start off with a little Marvel talk here, a little Daredevil Born Again. I've been watching the show weekly with my wife. You guys already know how I feel about the weekly releases. Blah. Give me what I want. Give me what I need, please. I need all my episodes. I need them all, and I need them now. But we have been watching weekly. Some of the weeks have been double episodes, so that's, I'm not going to lie, that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty awesome that they've been able to, give me a little more, about an hour and change, a little more. If it's a double episode, close to 2 hours, really, be honest with you. So that's been pretty cool. The show in and of itself, I'll be honest with you, I'm liking it. I do. I don't make the same mistake that everybody else makes by trying to compare it to the Netflix side. There's just no way to do that all over again. There's no way to sit here and actually make those comparisons. I think it's a little unfair, to be honest with you, to make that level of comparison to the Netflix show. They just didn't have as many handcuffs as they're going to have at Disney. It's just, it's not fair to them. But as a show in and of itself, I'm not going to front. I've been digging it. I've been digging it a little bit. I like where they have taken Matt Murdock. I've liked where they've taken Fisk. I love the inclusion of Vanessa. As far as her role and everything, that she's been taking care of the company and the businesses while Fisk has been away. I'm going to, again, try to speak in less spoiler language because the show technically isn't over yet. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes, with next week being the finale. So I won't divulge too many spoilers. I'll try to be a good little boy and kind of talk around it. Although there is one thing that I mentioned on my social media that I did not like in episode 1, but we'll get there in a second. We'll do a little bit of a compliment sandwich here. We'll start off with the positive and the good. So far, I haven't gotten nearly enough Punisher. We only got one episode of that. I hear that there's going to be more in the finale next week. Again, I won't spoil the scene, but it's all over social media. It's a really intense scene, really good stuff. I personally enjoyed the heck out of it. I love John Berthenol as the Punisher. Dope actor. He's really doing the fucking damn thing. When these guys get together, Charlie Cox and John Berthenol, they're maniacs. These dudes are they're really, really fucking good at what they do. So I'm really happy with that. The thing that I did not like, I maybe I'm alone on this. Maybe I'm alone on this, but I wasn't very happy about the fact that in the promotional material, you see a lot of Foggy, you'll see a lot of Karen, and there's an incident. Again, I'm going to stay away from the spoilers as far as what the incident is. There was a specific incident that kind of took place in episode 1 that made me very, very upset because what it leads to is we really don't get a lot of Karen and we don't get a lot of Foggy. And I just think, I was kind of upset by that. There are huge, huge parts of the story. I was very excited about the fact that we were going to get these original characters back with the original actors in their old positions, and we're going to pick up where we left off, and this is going to be great. And within a span of, I think the first episode was somewhere around 60 minutes, we do get the nostalgia of the older characters, but then we get to sprinkled in new characters that we're going to be following throughout the show. Some of them were in the actual original who have their roles expanded, like Detective Cherry and a few. I think it was one of the cops, Angela Kim, or something like that. Bullseye, the actor who played Bullseye in the series, the original series, is back as well. So we have our fair share here of the nostalgia parts. So that part is pretty cool, which is why people say, well, you gotta let it breathe. You gotta give it a minute, let them cook. Don't just be upset, because I was highly upset after simply just watching the first episode. I was already livid. I was already taken to the streets. I was prepared to do my worst. I wasn't going to completely cut it off. People thought that I was going to go that far, but I wasn't going to go that far. I wasn't going to completely cut off Daredevil simply because I didn't get enough Karen and Foggy. But it did make me nervous about the remainder part of the show. So I'm happy to say that the show did get a little better for me. I did find a way to enjoy it without the original characters, but still kind of stinks. It still kind of stinks. I would have loved these new characters and those old characters to kind of intermingle a little bit and get a little bit more in depth on that stuff. But it just didn't work out. Call me biased, but one of my favorite parts of this series, the inclusion of Hector Ayala, the White Tiger, Boricua City. Every Puerto Rican in the world was rooting for that man. So that was actually a really cool part of the story, a nice introduction to the character. Again, I'm trying to stay spoiler free, but at the same time, if you're going to decide to watch this show, that's a really cool part, especially if you've got a little Borican in you, if you got a little Puerto Rican in you. That's going to be a really about somewhere in the middle, about 2 episodes. It's going to be really cool to watch that representation on a Marvel show. It was actually really, really cool to see that. To my point now about the stuff that I am not liking, and I've kind of already made this point a while back. Check it out. It's on YouTube. Next, AJOUM, the segment called Netflix Turns Heel. The ideology of not having the episodes together. Okay, you bite that, right? Netflix turning heel, because Netflix did it, but this is on the Disney Plus app, and they're doing it the same thing. But I was confused, and I'm done lumping myself up with everybody else. If you were not confused, if you didn't fall into the bullshit that I fell into, then kudos to you. But I got confused when I heard the Daredevil announcement originally from Kevin Feige. We were under the impression that we were going to get 18 episodes. Now, it is true. We're going to get 18 episodes. That part has not been exaggerated, or it's not been that's not incorrect information, right? We're going to get 18 episodes. So that's also really cool to know that they thought that far ahead. But I was under the impression that we were going to get an 18-episode season. I didn't realize that it was going to be 18 episodes split up between 2 seasons. I did not know that. So I was under the impression that we had a lot more Daredevil to go. That is not the case. The episode that I just saw this week was episode 8, which means we only have one episode left. It's going to be a 9-episode season 1 and a 9-episode season 2. Now, I think it's cool that we're going to get a season 2, but to be honest with you, I'm now a little less excited about season 2 because of how these episodes have been set up. We're getting a lot of open-ended stories here. We've got one episode to go. There's a lot of open stuff here. And again, I don't want to go into spoilers, but there's a lot of stuff to unpack as far as the story goes for these characters. And we're not going to get to it now. We're not going to get to it during the course of this particular season, within these 9 episodes. And that kind of sucks, to be honest with you, because I kind of wanted there to be some sort of resolution to some of these. It looks like we're going to get quite a few left before we can actually get a chance to find the ending to this. So I'm looking in front of me now. The original Daredevil series, the one on Netflix, which was transferred over to Disney Plus. The first season with 13 episodes, the second season 13 episodes, and the third season, I'm following a trend, and indeed it is 13 episodes. So imagine my excitement when I heard the number 18. Oh, we're going to get 18 episodes. That's pretty cool. But we are not. We're getting 9-episode seasons. We're getting 2 seasons, but we're getting 2 seasons worth of 9 episodes each, which means the finale for season 1 is next week. So I'm hoping that means that we're going to get at least a few conclusions, something to wrap these stories up by season 1. And we know now that if we don't get him here, if we don't get the solutions here, we're going to get him in season 2, which is cool. That's all right. But I'm hoping that we also get more Punisher in the second season. This White Tiger situation, again, no spoilers. I'd like to see the next evolution chapter in that. The relationship with the psychiatrist. We'll see where that goes. Episode 8 ended with a tremendous cliffhanger. I don't think we'll get, I'm saying that out loud. I don't think we're going to get an actual solution to that in the next episode. I really feel like we're going to keep that wide the fuck open until the next season. So we'll see. But, yeah, it's still a really good series. Am I going to sit here and tell you that it's as good as what it was on Netflix? Debatable, subjective, I guess. But this series alone, as it is, as a standalone, don't sleep on it. This is a pretty good show. I got to admit, it's a really good show. I'm getting into it. I like where the characters are going. I wish I had more of it, but that's the beauty of a show. If you're doing it right, that's the end result that you want to have. You want to have people thinking to themselves, man, I wish I had more of this television show. God, I wish there was more. I wish I could do more television with this stuff. So we will see. We will see how that goes. I'm not happy about the way that they're, divvying everything up. But as far as the content goes, it's been pretty good. And I need more John Bernthal. I need more Punisher. I know the MCU is doing its own thing right now, and we're getting geared up for the road to Doomsday. We did all that talk last week about the cast reveal. But, at the same time, myself, a native New Yorker, I've always, when I read comic books, when I read the stories when I was a kid, I was always tremendous fan, I should say, of the street level superheroes. I've always had an affinity towards them. That's always been kind of a thing to me. It's one of the biggest reasons I think I'm such a huge Cap fan. I love the punch kick superheroes. I just do. I'm gonna have a field day at fucking Thunderbolts. I really am, because it's gonna be a movie based on exactly that. A bunch of punch and kick, superheroes just doing whatever it is they gotta do, man. and I'm excited for it. So that's Daredevil Born Again. You guys can leave me some comments here at the bottom here on YouTube about that, and let me know what you think about the show.
Next up, segment 2.
Segment 2. This next topic is about real IDs. Some of you may have heard about them through social media. There's been a lot of social media reach out, a lot of media conversation about this. This is a federal thing. This is in every state here in the United States. So the way that this works is normally, as a U.S. citizen, you would have some form of identification. You either have a driver's license or you have a non-driver's license state ID. For international travel, you'd get yourself a passport, which is the little blue book that you could use to travel through the airlines and head overseas and do whatever you need to do. Traditionally speaking, all you would technically need to do under normal circumstances to be able to travel domestically, meaning from point A to point B, all being within the United States, all you would really need is your driver's license to do that, both through purchasing the tickets and, of course, to actually get on the plane. You would need your driver's license to do that. So the process that they have began is a system called Real ID, Enhanced ID, and what it is it is a form of identification that the card itself will have a physical determiner as far as it being a legitimate government-issued identification. You're probably saying to yourself, well, I already have a government-issued identification. Well, it's good that you bring that up because I actually have a little piece of video here. I'd like to play it. So we have a professional explain it to you. This is the AAA Northeast Robert Sinclair. He is explaining real IDs, why they're important, why you need to get the ID in the first place. I'm going to go ahead and let this rock just a little bit so you guys can get an idea of what's going on.
Well, after years of delay, it's finally here. Having a real ID to fly domestically is going to be a must starting May 7th, or else you can't fly. And showing just your driver's license isn't going to cut it. So that means if you don't already have one, current company included, at least I don't have one. We don't know about yours yet, Bianca.
I don't either.
But you do need to head to your local DMV to fill out the paperwork.
By the way, this video that I'm playing, I forgot to preface this before I hit the play button, but this is on the YouTube channel Fox 5 New York. Excuse me, Fox 5 New York. They are the one who was interviewing Mr. Sinclair. They're illustrating to you now exactly what I just said before about the travel part, that you're going to need it to travel domestically. There's a little picture in the video. It has a star, but like a star in a circle, almost like Captain America's shield, almost like. And it's located in the top right corner of the driver's license. I'll let them continue.
All right, joining us now with more information on what you need to know as the deadline approaches is Robert Sinclair, Senior Manager of Public Affairs, AAA Northeast. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, and you are not alone, believe me, in not having it yet.
Yeah, so maybe start there. Explain what this Real ID is and how do we know if we even have one?
Mm-hmm. Okay, pause for just a second. Good question. His response to them about saying, because the two women who are anchoring the news here are openly joking about the idea that they don't have it. It's April 9th at the point of recording. The deadline is May 7th. They don't have it. And he gets on the air and he immediately says, yeah, you're not the only one. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this piece right now, because it doesn't seem like a lot of people are understanding that this is something that you have to do. I'm going to give you guys my story about it when this is all over, but I want to give you guys the information before I divulge into my own bullshit. So here's Mrs. Sinclair answering the question that they just asked.
Well, an act of Congress in 2005 mandated minimum standards for driver's licenses as a result of the 9/11 attacks. Many of the terrorists, I believe all the terrorists, used fake driver's licenses in order to get on the planes. And a fake driver's license is one of the easiest things to obtain. So in order to make for a more secure document,
Now, he doesn't work for the government. I'm going to pause it here for just a second. He does not work for the government. He works for AAA, which is an auto club. And he's saying that a fake driver's license is one of the easiest things to obtain, which is true. I'll give it to him. That is actually factual. I know a lot of people who have gotten them over the years. The problem is I've never been able to get my hands on one. I have never had a fake ID in my entire life, and I feel like I'm missing out, to be honest with you. I feel like less of a human being. I didn't go through that trial by fire. I did not get my fake driver's license to sneak into the club or to sneak into the bar. When I was 15 or 16, I had the mustache already. I was a pretty good size build. I was never really asked to show ID. So I never really needed one. But the fact that they're just openly joking about the idea that it's just so easy to get a bogus ID is alarming. But here we go.
The government passed certain standards that you have to show certain pieces of identification, proof of identity, proof of residency, proof of social security number in order to get a real ID to be used for domestic air travel.
So, I mean, can you get away with using a passport, or do you have?
Yes, without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, passport is good.
Even a fly
lot of people
domestic?
don't like to carry them because they're larger, bigger documents.
Yeah,
And the driver's license fits right in your wallet. And so a lot of people prefer to use that. And it has been an acceptable form of identification for domestic travel for a long time.
Okay, I think the one thing that people dread most is going to the DMV.
Right.
Because that's always a lovely experience.
That shit is universal. That shit is universal. That sigh, that, oh my fucking God, I gotta go to the DMV. That is universal. Everybody hates going to the fucking DMV. And the funny thing is that there are people who will tell you, I hate working at the DMV. And then fall on hard times, they'll go looking for work and they get hired to work at the DMV and they contribute to the shitty experience that it is to be in the fucking DMV. It's a vicious, vicious, vicious cycle. So we'll continue here.
So you need to go to the DMV to get one of these, or is there another way around it?
No, without a doubt, it's going to require a personal visit in order to get it done. So you can get it done at DMV offices, you get it done.
See, he lost him immediately. Yes, it's going to require a personal visit. Ugh! It's that personal dread. No one wants to go to the DMV. No one ever wants to. There are people who would rather go to a dentist for a colostomy than go to a fucking DMV. They don't want to fucking do it. No one does. No one did. A collective groan. Oh, why? Why are you making me do this?
Done at AAA offices. If you're a member, you make an appointment.
Okay.
And you have to have original documents, proof of social security number. You have to have the social security card, and it cannot be laminated. Or you can use a W-2 or a pay stub, but it has.
I never understood the no lamination. Because I'm 42. My social security card looks like absolute dog shit. My social security card has seen some shit. Okay? My social security card looks like a Vietnam veteran fresh out of the jungle. He just looks distressed and battered. And sure, he puts a smile on his face during picture day. But inside of his head, it's like East Side Saigon in there, boy. Let me tell you. Charlie is on his 12 at all times. My social security guard has seen some shit, has experienced life, and now everyone's like, well, it can't be laminated. He's talking about, by the way, and I know people are wondering, AJ, why are you going over identification? You know, people, if you're a grown adult, you have your ID. Not all of them. Not all of them. For a while, I knew a bunch of people in their 20s. They didn't have a driver's license or a state ID. They don't even know what the 6 points are. So just in case, we're playing it here.
To have all 9 digits of the social security number on it. Proof of residency, you need 2 documents, original documents of proof of residency, like a mortgage agreement, utility bill, property tax bill, or a rental or lease agreement. Proof of identity is the birth certificate. It took me a long time to find mine when I had to get it.
Robert, it's sounding like I'm going to be carrying my passport to the airport.
I just want to understand. We got to do all this, pay some extra money to do this just to get a star on your driver's license?
Well, the fee is a duplicate license fee if your license is not expiring. Some people want to wait until the date that their license expires. I believe licenses last 10 years now, so that might.
I didn't do that. I'll explain why I didn't do that. Me and my wife had valid driver's license when we went in for our our new IDs. We went with the enhanced one, which is higher than the real ID. I'll explain that in a second too. And we didn't whatchamacallit. We did not wait until the end. We got ours immediately, and it ties into the passport situation. I'll explain in a second. But yes, if you're hearing this and you're saying to yourself, I don't really want to go through that process, nor do I want to pay to go through that process, as long as you have a valid passport, you don't have to. You can just keep doing what you've been doing. But let him finish here.
Take a while. So if you need to go get this real ID, it will be simply the fee of a duplicate license, which is not that much. So you don't have to worry about the expense, I don't think. But a lot of people don't know about this because so many are in the habit of making their own travel arrangements these days. If you work with a travel counselor, they know about all these regulations. And don't forget, there are ones to travel to the UK and another one for the rest of
Now he's breaking into a whole nother tax bracket of people. Who the fuck has a travel counselor? Who the fuck hired a person to do the vacation research for them? Yeah, that ain't us, homie. I wish I could just pass my Orbitz login information to somebody and just have them figure out all the fucking pricing for me. Or actually, Priceline for me. I'm a VIP on Priceline. Thanks to professional wrestling, I travel a lot, and I'm on the VIP for Priceline. But other than that, I don't know. Travel, whatever the fuck he just said, not over here, brother. That's not my tax bracket. But okay, here we go.
Europe, but because so many people are planning their own travel plans, they don't know about it, and they get to the airport and they get a very, very upsetting message.
Nothing derails you more. Whoa,
I found it. I found my ID.
don't let people zoom
Okay.
in.
You can zoom in here. I realized I have a real ID. There we go. I'm good to go.
But it's not New York.
It's Florida.
Well, and that's an important thing to know because the regulations can vary from state to state. So New York might have one, and New Jersey, Connecticut.
Okay.
So
Either way.
go to your DMV website for your particular state to get the particular.
For the record, folks, they're laughing because in New York, I don't know if it's everywhere. That part, I don't know if that's federal. But in New York, there's a system now where there's an app where you could scan your identification, and it takes it straight into the app, and it saves it for you. So if you were to ever actually to physically lose your ID, you still have the option of using the app to show your ID. The reason why they're laughing is because Dingbat went looking into the app to see if she had her ID in there. It's in there, and it turns out when she updated her license, it was a real ID. And she got so excited, the fucking Maroon turned the phone around on camera on Fox 5 News and showed her fucking ID to the world. And that's why her partner was like, maybe, don't do that in case people zoom in and steal your fucking identity. So they all kind of laughed at her on national TV. and now we move on to the completion here.
Information of what you will need in order to get that real ID. Very important.
Very important. Well, Robert, thank you for breaking it down, and hopefully no one's...
So it's a system. The system is the same as getting a driver's license. The word duplicate basically meaning that if you already have a valid driver's license and you currently are in possession of a passport, then you don't need to do this. If you don't have a passport, then you absolutely have to go through this process, whether your driver's license is valid or not. If it happens to be expired before May 7th, then you're good. Just do the renewal process on May 7th, and you should be 100% straight. Now, okay, so for those of you who don't have passports, you kind of are stuck. They're making you do this. There's no other fucking way around it, unfortunately. You're going to have to get the fucking real ID. Or the enhanced, like the ones that I have. Either or. They're going to fucking make you do it. And so, this is the situation that it is. The excuse that they're using is the fake ID excuse, which has been around since, like, forever, right? I mean, everybody remembers going to the liquor store and all that stuff with the fake ID. So they're trying to cut back on that when it comes to air travel. That's what they're really specifically trying to target. It's the air travel of it. So, my situation, right? So, here's my situation. So, up until recently, I know I shared a post last week on Thursday. I just got my passport. My wife and son. My wife got her passport. I got my passport. We used to have passports. We let it expire fucking years ago. So we had to go through the whole process all over again, and to get new passports. We did what we needed to do, which is dope. We got it done. My son has his very first passport at the age of 10, which is pretty good, and he travels a lot, so he's good. He does a lot of traveling for a 10-year-old. So we're straight on that. But back to the ID itself. I got the ID. We learned about the Real ID situation last summer. You can go back, again, one of the older episodes, the California experience. I forgot what number it is. Where we talked about my trip last summer to Los Angeles and to San Diego, my first time on the West Coast. It was during that trip where we started seeing signs in the airport where it says, get your Real ID, get your enhanced ID ASAP, because it's going to be law to have it at some point. So I remember taking photos of that. I was like, I've never heard that. Let me look into that. And, we went on vacation. We did what we did. We came back. I took the time to look it up. And all that stuff that I found is the stuff we're talking about here and what it means. And in order for us to travel, we're going to need such and such. We're going to need either the Real ID, the enhanced ID, or a passport. And at the time, I didn't have a passport. So we knew that we wanted to get passports, but we weren't entirely sure if I could. The passport thing was a little iffy. I'll explain why. So, this was another reason why I think I let my passport expire, to be honest with you. I think it's something that played on my head, but I wasn't entirely sure what my passport status was going to be. I have an arrest. I have a conviction, actually. I have signed paperwork for a conviction in Mexico. So I wasn't entirely sure that I was going to be given a passport, even if I fucking filed for it. So when we saw that we needed to get Real IDs to fly domestically, just to travel in general, my wife and I got a little nervous about the passport situation. Because they're like, well, as long as you got passports, you're good. Right, but I don't, and I don't know if I'm going to get, so this is a problem, right? So we decided to jump on it. We said, you know what, before the rush, let's get the Real IDs, and then doesn't matter what the passport people say, at least I could still fly domestically, right? And I don't want to raise any flags during the passport phase and then fuck up the regular driver's license phase, right? I'm not trying to raise any red flags. So even though we had valid driver's licenses, we went out and got the real one anyway. So there's two. There's the Real ID and there's the enhanced ID. The Real ID is everything you just heard there. It's basically a driver's license with a fucking star on it. All right? That just makes it official. But the enhanced ID is a little different. And the difference between the two is that while the Real ID is a standard domestic travel identification, the enhanced also allows for occupancy through federal buildings and federal establishments. So for me personally, outside of the wrestling, I work for the government. So I'm in federal buildings not often, but enough to where having this, the enhanced ID is beneficial because I don't want to have an issue with getting into these buildings because I don't have an enhanced ID. Right? I just don't want to run into that problem. My wife and I both work for the government directly. So we figured we were going to need that regardless. Also, what the enhanced ID does is it allows you access as a civilian to enter military bases and federal property as far as that goes as well. And that was a huge plus because my son is a bit of a performer and a stage kid, and there is a base not too far from where I live. They house a lot of the performances in their staging area. So in order for us to get on the property, we need an enhanced ID. So it just made sense. It was more expensive than the Real ID, but we really needed the enhanced. So we went out and we got the enhanced. So we got that done. We had to take time to get that done. And then after we got that done, which was a while ago, what are we in now? April? I think we got the real IDs. It was after the summer. So sometime around Halloween or Thanksgiving or some shit like that. So we've had them for a minute. And now we have our passports. So we filled out the information for the passports. That went through. And nothing got flagged on my end, so as far as I know, I'm good to fucking go. No issues on my end. I am free to fly anywhere in the fucking world, as far as I know. As far as I've been told, the conviction in Mexico stated that I was not allowed to drive in that city or that town that I will not reveal. In the future, so I thought it would be an issue when it came to passports. It was not, so we're straight. I'm good to go. I'm legal, and I'm willing to travel. So is my son. He wants to go to Japan. I don't know about that, but we'll see. There's different options on the table. So I wanted to do my due diligence. I want to do my service to you folks out there and let you know deadline's coming. That's what it's for. You can go to your local. Because like the guy said, every state has their own different regulations, which means they also have their own prices. So you need to go to your local DMV website and figure out what those prices are. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot less of a headache if you do this process. My wife made a very interesting comment to me the other day with all these trips to Europe and all this stuff that WWE has been doing. We're inching ever so closely to getting a Wrestlemania overseas somewhere. And when that happens, she wants to go. So that'll be the situation for us. We want to be able to go on the road and do that. And the only way to do that is to take care of what needs to be taken care of. So that's my pitch to you guys. That's my due diligence. That's my little piece to you guys to let you guys know that, these real IDs situations is very, very serious. I don't give a shit if you got the best price on airfare or whatever the case may be. They are not going to let you fly unless you have this shit. So do yourself the fucking favor. Go get the shit, all right? Hey guys, AJ Orsini here, and I am super excited to let all of you know that we have completely rebranded the official OUM YouTube channel. We have changed the handle, we've changed the look, we have changed the feel and the vibe of OUM's exclusive YouTube channel. Now, all you need to do to access this YouTube channel, it's very, very simple. You go into the search bar, you type in OUM Network, or you can type in youtube.com/@OUM Network. It'll take you right there. This is going to be all-encompassing, every aspect of OUM officially on YouTube. It's going to be the episodes. It's going to be the shorts, the reels, the independent spotlight. It's going to be the OUM Minute. It's all of your OUM needs on the official YouTube channel. Check it out today.
It's time for segment 3.
Segment 3 is here, and it takes us back to the world of professional wrestling as we gear up for Wrestlemania weekend. Now, I have seen some cranes, I've seen some wiring, and even that is enough to get the old feeling, the old butterflies in the gut. But I tell you this, Wrestlemania has had a history of being one of the biggest events of the year, both in sports and entertainment. Mostly entertainment. Sports kind of shuns its nose at WrestleMania, but entertainment has not. We've had a litany of celebrity guests throughout the years that have made way into the wrestling world, if only for just a minute, if only for just a second or two, to get a nice little rub from those wrestling fans who pay attention to WrestleMania. It's the sporting event. It's the entertainment extravaganza. It's WrestleMania. And with that comes high expectation. It started at Madison Square Garden and made its way through arena after arena as well as stadium after stadium. And now I think after 21 it's just been strictly all, after 20 I should say, starting with 21. It's been all stadiums. It's been all, no, I got that wrong. 21 was in the Staples Center. 22 was in Chicago in the building, and then 23 started with the stadiums and all that stuff, and the who's it's and the what's it's, and so we've had that going on for a while now. The WWE has had their their extravaganza in some of the biggest venues in the entire country. I was going to say world, but we haven't gotten to that part yet, have we? So with that comes some very interesting creative decisions. So when you think Wrestlemania, back in the day, the logo was very classic. It used to have the same exact look. So you were kind of expecting that. The apron with that same WrestleMania font every year, the same song. Classic WrestleMania theme. Over the years, it's changed, and now along with the change in feel, it's had a change in design. It's had some logo differences, and the logos usually tend to give you an idea of where they're headed design-wise for something as simple as the set and the design. And that to me has been, that to me is a big moment, right? So we were just making the joke that when I was a kid, when I was growing up, I never thought I'd be at a WrestleMania ever. Close as I got was 11 because we happened to be living in Connecticut when they went to Hartford, but we did not get a chance to go. And I never thought I'd really get a chance to be at a WrestleMania. And so far in my adulthood with my wife, I have been to 4. I've gone to 29, 35, 37, and 40. And, I count my blessings every single day that I've had a chance to be live for so many great events and so many great memories. But I could attest to people that no matter how excited you are for the show, and no matter how excited you are to be a part of the festivities and the people and the music and the sounds, as great as all that is, when you walk into the building, there's no greater feeling than walking into that building. You're outside the building, you have your ticket in hand, you give the ticket taker your ticket, and then you walk into the building. Some people go straight in, some people have to take an escalator, or whatever the case may be. But when you walk up and you walk toward the seats and you get that view and you look, and it's the WrestleMania set with the WrestleMania logos and the big screens and the loud music, there's no greater feeling in the world, man. That's the stuff of legend. It's the stuff that people love to grasp onto. It's that energy. It's so fucking awesome. And I experienced it myself. I remember being so emotional when we got the tickets to go to WrestleMania 29, which was in MetLife Stadium, not too far from where I live in New York. And we didn't drive in. We took transportation in. And it was just such a great fucking experience. It just was. And we walked in the SAP gate. We took the escalator up to our floor, and you got off the escalator, you just walk forward, and you could just see it. And that was 29, so that was the one with the bridge, and the Brooklyn Bridge, and the Statue of Liberty, and they really did it up. A little bit of a controversy with people, because the show was technically in Jersey, but they had all this New York shit up, so it was like such a big fuck you, right? Like when they go to Chicago, the building's in Chicago. When they go to LA, the building's in LA. When they go to Dallas, the shit is in Dallas, right? Well, no, that's not true, because Dallas actually doesn't house the stadium, right? Cowboy Stadium is in Arlington, now that I think about it. So actually it's a very similar situation. They were in Arlington talking about Dallas, right? So that's the same thing. We're talking about New York. We're literally on the other side of the river in New Jersey. But there's something about East Rutherford that doesn't sound all that appeasing marketing-wise. So WrestleMania, it's the big time, and you get the big staging, and you get the big theatrics, the pyro, the special entrances that we get from the superstars. It's all part of the package. So I've been hearing rumors, and I've seen a few things online where people were saying that Vegas this year is going to be very casino-themed. That the entranceway is going to be very casino-themed, which is an interesting thought. Very curious how that's going to come out and how that's going to look, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it every time. I want to see the new set, I remember in the old WrestleMania days, it was really just the regular entrance, and then we started getting, a little bit more creative entrances around the no, not 10. 10 did have a unique entrance. It had like that X in the middle, and then like it opened up, and then 11 had regular entrance, 12 had a regular entrance, 13 had that like I don't want to say booth, like a kiosk. It was like this plastic setup that they walked through. They had it for 13. And 14 just had a curtain with these metal circles around. I mean, they were unique, but they weren't really spectacular, like sets, right? 15 had a big X and a V. WrestleMania 2000 didn't really have anything all that crazy. 17 didn't have anything. I'm trying to think in my head. 19, I think, is where I start remembering Safeco Field, Seattle, where it just looked huge. Like the actual set just looked humongous, and it was gigantic in length. That's in Safeco Field, WrestleMania 19. 20 had a unique stage, although in the garden, right? So that was the one that had the light up. The Titantron was on the ramp. That was a very interesting one. 21 had a very 22 had the big building. That was unique. I felt bad for Rey Mysterio. He had to walk up some staircase to go meet up POD during his entrance, and then he had to rush all the way the fuck back down. Jesus, that must have been a gigantic pain in the ass. But now we're getting into it, right? So like 23's in Detroit. That's a big fucking entrance. Humongous entrance. That's the one where John drove his car through a plate glass window and during his entrance. And I remember Batista doing his entrance for that. That shit looked humongous because he's going left to right. Then he's going down the ramp. He's eating up a lot of fucking time there. 24 had a pretty cool one, I guess. It was all right. 25 just had a big stage, just humongous. That's the Heaven and Hell entrance with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. 26 had this pyramid, I want to say. It was like some sort of Aztec-looking thing. It was weird. It was in Phoenix, Arizona. How the fuck did Phoenix, Arizona get a fucking WrestleMania? I don't know. Tremendous time of year, I guess. There must have been a drought. 27 was cool. Although 27 had a unique ramp. It was like a ramp. Normally when you see wrestling shows with the ramp, they have like the entrance is at like the high point, and then you walk down a ramp. Whereas 27 was unique because when you went through the curtain, you had to walk up the ramp, which is a different look, different vibe, so to speak. It was almost, dare I say, TNA Impact. Like back in the earlier days when they had the heel and babyface tunnels and they just had, you had to walk up the ramp, which was unique. 28 in Florida, just palm trees everywhere. They just went Florida look. So it was what it was. 29, I already explained, it was the Brooklyn Bridge. It was the Statue of Liberty. They really went all out for that one. I did like that one. 31 with the Terminator look, the computer look. That was the one with the YouTube play button as its like primary logo. That was an interesting one. And then the 32 was we're back in Dallas or Arlington, whatever. This is the one that supposedly had over 100,000 people to watch WWE programming. Okay. But a big, everything was stars, right? Because of the Cowboys, big-ass stars. 33 had a dope fucking set. That was the one in Orlando with the roller coaster and the Earth, the globe, and all kinds of cool shit. That fucking WrestleMania set was pretty fucking cool. I'm not going to lie. It's like one of my favorite ones is 33. 34 had like those Macho Man glasses. It was supposed to be like the Nolans, like the what do they call that shit down there? Mardi Gras. I had like a Mardi Gras vibe to it. 35, we're back in New York, and I don't remember it having a theme. It was just red. When they came back here, everything was just red. That's all that it really was. And it just said WrestleMania everywhere. And it just looked big and shiny. 36, we do not acknowledge on this show. That was the pandemic. That was the Performance Center. That was nothing. That was a nothing. It was just they wrestled in a garage. 37 I attended. That was Tampa, Florida. That was fun. That was the pirate boat, that whole deal, the Buccaneers or whatever. 38, we're back in Dallas. More stars. That's what we need, boss. We need more stars. More stars. What do we do in Dallas? Stars. We do stars. We do more stars. If we get a lot of stars, then we do stars on top of that. Stars on top of stars. It's all stars. Stars to the fourth power. All kinds of stars. That's what that WrestleMania was. It was more stars. 39 in Los Angeles, the Hollywood motif. That was really cool. That staging was really cool. It looked like an old school theater, like right outside of it. That was pretty awesome. A dope look. And then last year at 40, with the big XL. The big XL was pretty cool. All green. I liked the scheme that 40 had last year. That was pretty good. We're on a streak when it comes to weekend themes, but at the sets have been on point. So I'm hearing for 41, we're doing more of a casino vibe. There's a giant. We're anticipating dice, a roulette table. There's going to be an interesting look to this particular set, so I can't wait to see it. You know me, I'm a big fucking mark when it comes to this kind of shit. I just am. I just fucking love it. I love it. And this is coming from somebody who considers mark to be a derogatory term. Didn't see that one coming, did you? But yes, I'm super hella dopely excited about everything that's about to happen this coming week. I know they're not going to let me down when it comes to that goddamn set. They're not going to let me down. It'll be dope. So, this is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for next week. I cannot wait. This is going to be cool.
It is now time for our main event.
Another man's announcement is another man's favor check. Or was it? News was made as the triple threat match was set. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins set to be the main event of, I will safely assume night one. They're not going to close 2 nights of WrestleMania with a non-title matchup. Cena and Cody will be last on night 2. But they will be the main event of night 1. That has been settled. We talked about it last week. Me and Dave broke it all down when we had the conversation about the fact that Punk and Roman Reigns had their confrontation, and they made Punk thank Roman Reigns for being in the main event, because he apparently is the reason that he's in the main event. And they want to pay homage and be respectful to the tribal chief. However, after CM Punk was gracious, he did let him know that as great as it is to be in the main event of WrestleMania, that ain't the favor that he asked. And that was left in the dark, just like that. And now this week, it's been revealed. It was revealed on Friday, on SmackDown, that CM Punk's favor that he is cashing in is that at WrestleMania, it's going to be Seth Rollins, it's going to be Roman Reigns, and it's going to be CM Punk with Paul Heyman in CM Punk's corner, not the tribal chief, not Roman Reigns. And at first, Roman Reigns laughs it off. That's your favor? All the things in the world you could have asked the tribal chief for, and you asked for that. That's your favor? And Roman says it, Paul, he loves me. He would never do something like that. Go ahead and tell him no, Paul. And Paul sat there frozen, not knowing really what to do. And he said, hey, I told you to tell him no. And he went on, and eventually Paul Heyman gets on the microphone and says, I can't do that, my tribal chief. He gave his word. Now, I'm going to safely assume when Punk was looking through, when he was thumbing through the contract, we all assumed, based on Paul Heyman's comments, that what he seemed to have been looking for was the main event deal, whether or not he's in the main event or not. That's what I think everybody felt like that's what he was looking for. So when he ended it with "that's not the favor that I asked for," then my brain went into, well, Paul said it was in there, but maybe he just had the wrong piece that was in there. Maybe in the contract it states that Paul Heyman needs to come to the ring and be seconded to CM Punk. I think that's why Paul Heyman is saying that he can't not do this, because it's in the contract. It is written there in the text. He has to be there for the Second City State during his main event run at WrestleMania. So now we know that the mystery is gone. The mystique is over. We know exactly what it is that Punk wants from Paul Heyman. I guess I'll be the one to say it. I assumed the favor was from the bloodline, not necessarily just Paul specifically. But as it would turn out, it's exactly that. He wants Paul Heyman to accompany him to the ring at WrestleMania, which I got to admit, pretty ballsy. All right? It was a pretty ballsy move. But Seth Rollins, who was in the ring, starts laughing and smiling. He gets it. He gets it. He understood exactly what Punk was trying to do. Under normal circumstances, Seth and Punk are on two different wavelengths. They're never going to be on the same page. But on this one, that move was so goddamn brilliant, even the architect had to fucking laugh about it. An amazing head situation. Amazing. Seth Rollins respects it. Game is game. He understands. That Roman Reigns has been tied to Paul Heyman for a long time now. It doesn't feel that way because a lot of us grew up and a lot of us live lives with Paul Heyman as Brock Lesnar's advocate, but he has been with Roman Reigns for several years now. And they are tight and they are close, and even Roman Reigns at the Hall of Fame. So there is no tribal chief without the wise man. There will always be the wise man to the tribal chief. If anything was to ever happen to the wise man, I would hang it up. There's no sense in me continuing with my career without Paul Heyman. They're tied to the hip. And for all we know, CM Punk being in Paul Heyman's corner, the other way around. Paul Heyman being in CM Punk's corner is guaranteed to be one night only. Because Paul came out on Raw just past Monday and stated, just so everyone was clear, that he loves his tribal chief. But he's also loyal to his best friend in the world, CM Punk. That should tell you all you really need to know about this upcoming story. That's everything that would contemplate to you that this is a personal issue. Now, I'm not going to get into the dynamics of the triple threat. We're going to save that for the roundtable. I have been telling you folks that despite what the internet may tell you, this storyline makes a ton of sense. And I could give it to you two ways. The long ways, we can go all the way back to about 2011, 2012, or you can just go back as far as January. And the story still makes sense all the way through. But that's a conversation that I want to have on the roundtable because this brings up another topic. This topic of logic. And people say, well, it doesn't make any sense. Well, see, that's the thing. It actually does. It makes sense. Because there's a difference. There's a difference between something making sense and something you don't like. Because people conflate the two. They don't like it, so it doesn't make sense. No, it makes sense. You just don't like it. And that's fine. You don't have to like everything that wrestling promotions put out there, put on TV, or put on YouTube, whatever the case may be. You don't have to like everything that you see. But you can respect game, and you can put your respect on people who deserve it for putting their bodies on the line and what goes on in there. It doesn't make sense. No, you just don't like it. I can tell you the story of the triple threat between Rollins, Punk, and Roman. I could tell you the storyline between the three girls, between Bianca, Io, and Rhea. There's a story there. It just isn't your cup of tea. It's not one that you're enjoying. It's not one that you're able to follow because it's either illogical at some points or there's no consistency to it, whatever the case may be. They're telling a story. It just isn't a very good one. And it's not hooking you, and it's not grabbing you, and it's not giving you those goosebumps, and it's not giving you the moments that you felt in your chest last year when we had WrestleMania. So I get it. I get it. But this triple threat match makes sense. You can do something with this. It is entirely possible for all of the involved to go out there and have the kind of match that we all know that they can have. But as we all know, it's WrestleMania, and that story needs to match. So we have the favor. Excuse me. We have the favor. We know that Paul is going to be in his corner. But now, as we progressed on to, say, this past Monday, where Seth is in the ring with Paul Heyman, and they're going back and forth, and Seth's out here just spilling the tea. He's just out here telling all kinds of truths. He is going off about how Punk treated Heyman and how Roman treated him, and oh yeah, of course he's your best friend, but he won't do what you need him to do without a favor being asked in return. Seth Rollins has done nothing but tell the truth, which helps with the fact of why he's been able to maintain being a babyface, at least on paper. But he's getting mixed reactions in the building. So this is as close to a neutral. This is as close to a tweener as I think I've ever seen, is current Seth Rollins. Because it's not even just within this program, but just how close he walks that line between being ethical and being a survivalist. I got to do what I got to do to win or to protect what I have, whether it be a championship. But at the same time, there's a line that you cross. You don't go past that line, then you should be good. When you paint within the barriers, you can do whatever color you want. As soon as you start coloring outside the lines, it's a problem. And I think that's the way that he's living his life. So we got a tease here. Rollins is picking on Paul Heyman. He's bullying him. He's trying to get under his skin. Punk comes out for the save. Deucey da. And Punk gets knocked out. And Seth Rollins is there to pick up the goddamn pieces. And to intimidate. Which he's really, 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 really good at. And there is a scuffle. And Seth drops Punk with the curb stomp and attempts, almost like a feigned version of it, almost like he's going to do it to Paul Heyman, but he stops himself short, and then he leans down into the microphone and he says, "And now you owe me a favor." So this is all Drama City, basically. This is all Drama City. This is all anybody's going to be talking about. They're going to hate this match. They're going to love this match. There's a lot going on with this. We talked about it last week, Talkamania. There was much more of that here. I'm not a big fan of the SmackDowns and Raws that we've been getting, only for the fact that they've been letting the B and the C crew work most of those shows. They're trying to keep as many of their A-list talent as healthy as they possibly can, which is understandable. And there's a lot of notable situations. Like, for instance, Sami Zayn had such a big year last year at WrestleMania, and he's not on the card at all this year. Kevin was on the card, but he's injured, so he's off, which I keep telling people it's got to be Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis has to be Kevin Owens' replacement against Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I know he hasn't had a plethora of matches in WWE, but this is like riding a bike between these two. They'll figure this shit out. And we'll get a great match out of it. There's some possibilities here. So WrestleMania is jumping up, boys and girls. It is almost just about right there. And it's going to be an enjoyable time. WrestleMania, Talkamania, however you want to fucking promote the fucking thing. This triple threat match is going to be dope. I finally got a chance to see Charlotte and Tiffy. It was what it was. The media and the hype and the buzz on social media kind of made it, I personally believe, bigger than it really needed to be. I really didn't think it was that tremendous of a ordeal, but it is what it is. People take things the way they want to take them. They've added a few matches. I got a Fatal 4-Way that I called a mile away for the Intercontinental title. We have a gauntlet match on Friday to settle up the women's tag team title match for the pay-per-view. The only tag team match of either night, by the way. Only one tag team match booked on the card itself. Jey Uso against Gunther for the world title. There's a lot of moving parts. El Gran Americano will make his WrestleMania debut against the great Rey Mysterio. It'll be a battle of the GOAT luchadors, two of the greatest of all time, two of the best to ever do it. I'm going to do it for your enjoyment, Las Vegas, your enjoyment. So a lot of great matches to come, a lot of great action to come. I personally am super excited. Next week, we're not going to be on the show on Tuesday or Wednesday. We're not going to record Tuesday or release on Wednesday because we're going to be doing a live roundtable on the 18th. This is the Friday before WrestleMania is what I'm looking at. If something should change schedually because we need to make room for something, or if Dave has something to come up, we'll update you on the actual social media. But we're going to be doing our WrestleMania roundtable. Yes, the guests are lined up. We're good to go. I just need them to finalize some of these matches so we know what the fuck we're talking about, and then we should be straight. It'll be WrestleMania weekend. So between now and next week, that's the next step. That's the next road. This was the go-home episode right here. Next stop on the train, WrestleMania, my favorite time of year. I cannot wait to fucking get there. I cannot wait. 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 I cannot wait to get to WrestleMania. It's my happiest time of the year. My family's happiest time of the year. It's just going to be fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal. So, yeah. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Thank you guys for sharing. And, of course, thank you guys for enjoying episode 302. Dave will be back next week. I'm sure of it. He's going to be at the round table. It's going to be dope sauce. I'm sorry I cut the main event a little bit short, but the more I got into the topic, the more I realized I have so much more to say, but I'm saving it for the fucking round table. So, tune in. Enjoy. We'll see you guys next week.
Mic drop. Wait a minute. This is too much. Cooking it like a pro. Wrap it up, everybody. Show's over.